Okay, so there is always one question that is inevitable in any multiplayer game, and that question is, what is best? It's something that almost every player wants to know, and it is very understandable. For a lot of people, performance is something that matters to them. But I'm here to tell you today that that question is dumb, at least when it pertains to Final Fantasy XIV. There's been a lot of drama since the launch of 6.2, specifically pertaining to class balance. There were very large damage gaps in between jobs. It got so bad that there were some comps that were unable to meet the damage checks week 1. Obviously, that's not ideal, and it really sucks for those week 1 players. However, that's the thing. It only matters during the first week. Let me explain. At week 1, players only have access to the gear that they obtained from their first boss kills, meaning they can only go up so many item levels before facing the final encounter. That's important because in order to get to clear week 1, every player must be playing to their fullest potential. But as the weeks progress, you continue to down these same bosses over and over again. This allows you and your party to get stronger and stronger, meaning that the same bosses that week 1 players were barely getting down are suddenly not as challenging. As the weeks progress, damage output becomes further and further irrelevant, meaning so long as your group is doing mechanics correctly, you are guaranteed to clear. Now to rewind a bit, at the beginning of 6.2 there were about 3 very noticeable jobs that were lacking: Paladin, Warrior, and Machinist. Paladin and Warrior were struggling because Dark Knight and Gunbreaker were just doing so much more damage. Playing with a Paladin or a Warrior week 1, it was essentially handicapping yourself. Now obviously they both just got buffs a few weeks after, but that really only helped Paladin. Now Machinist is just an absolute tragedy. It provides next to nothing for raid utility when compared to Bard or Dancer, and also it does less damage than both of them, so I mean, yeah, poor Machinist. It feels bad. Fast forward to now, and you are seeing Machinists clearing the first encounter with really high damage. So what is my main point in all of this? My main point is that we're at week 6 of the tier. Job choice does not matter. The question of what class is best is simply irrelevant. You can clear with almost any comp, and if you need any proof at all, look at FF logs. There are countless logs with jobs that are considered suboptimal on every boss, even the last one. Now I just said the question's irrelevant, but for some people it is important. Some people are more performance-minded, and there is definitely truth in saying that you will have an easier time with a boss fight when using the best comps. There is definitely nothing wrong with being more performance-minded. It only becomes an issue when it affects your enjoyment and other people's enjoyment of the game. Bottom line, unless you are a week 1 Andy, do not freak out over rankings or tier lists. If it's something that is important to you, then great. For me personally, I would consider myself a player that values that information, but I never let it affect my enjoyment of the game, and neither should you. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this quick video, consider leaving a like. It would really help me out in the algorithm. Thanks again and take care.